Ask and you shall receive. Okay, technically, this is not an IKEA greenhouse. I think it's a shoebox, but I'm going to make it into a greenhouse because why not? Suddenly lost motivation. Okay, it's literally 7 pieces, can't be that bad. Oh. Should not have laid these pieces down on a furry white rug. But that was really easy, and I love that it is magnetic. Surprisingly, all these corners seem pretty well sealed, like no real area for humidity to escape except for along the door edges, which is okay. It'll probably be minimal, which means I don't think I need to weather strip it. But in the name of science, I got 2 hygrometers and I'm gonna put one inside and one outside so I can compare what the humidity is inside this box versus out. One thing to note though is that the humidity inside an empty greenhouse is not going to be the same as when you put in plants inside, because plants will naturally raise the humidity. So this will not be the humidity of the inside of this greenhouse always. More plants, the humidity will be higher, but I still just want to compare the differences of what it's like inside versus outside. Okay, it's 40% humidity outside and 42 inside, so not a huge difference. Okay, because look at this. I put in 3 plants now, and it is at 88% humidity. So safe to say this needs 0 weather stripping, which is great. Less customizations, the better. But one thing I do 100% need to add to this is a grow light. I hoard grow lights like I do pots. Because I always say this like a broken record, the #1 factor that affects plant growth is light. This came in a pack of 4. I feel like 1 would suffice. I guess I could do 2. And the cool thing about these is you can daisy chain as many as you want together and control them all with just 1 switch, which also comes with a timer. So this is connected to this, which is connected to this. And I can do either white or black. And I'm using this magnetic disc that'll attach it. The only thing is I need the cord to be able to somehow feed back out of the greenhouse, so I need to make like a little hole in the back here. I use this soldering iron for everything except for actual soldering. And I'm gonna melt a hole right here. Let's first trace how big this hole needs to be. That looks about right. So do what I say, not what I do. Please do this in a ventilated space. My room is not a ventilated space, but I do not want to move locations right now. I hope I don't mess this up. Oh, that went in really easily. Nope. Yes. And now I just need to plug it in. Perfect! It works so well. It's like the perfect little display box. A $20 greenhouse, not bad at all. But these aren't the plants that I'm gonna keep in here. These plants I just put in here to test out the humidity. These have already been acclimated to room humidity. I'm gonna grow some tissue cultures. I've had these tissue cultures in my greenhouse for a while, way too long. It's time to debag these and pot them up. By the way, these tissue cultures are from DandiPlants, who's a seller in Palm Street, and thank you to Palm Street for sponsoring this video today. I just unboxed a mystery package from PlantsbySherylAnne, who is another wonderful seller on Palm Street, and I wanted to show them off. This little guy is a rare Hoya called a Hoya Argentea Princess. The leaves are like a little bit ghostly and muted. It came as a rooted cutting, but because it's still growing roots, I also put it in a self-watering setup like this. And because I don't have enough Alocasias, this is an Alocasia Pseudosanderiana pink. Pseudosanderiana. It's the most impossible name, but it's a cute pink variegated Alocasia that I don't have. These are both sitting in my P.O. box for an entire weekend, and they still came out impeccable. And I have a few more plants that I've gotten from SherylAnne before, like this Philodendron Emerald King and the Philodendron Cherry Red Pink that I showed you earlier. And an update that everybody's been asking for are my RareFoliage plants, who is another one of my favorite sellers. My Philanthus urinaria pink is basically a mini tree now. And my variegated money tree, please look at these leaves. Palm Street is such a great platform to connect with sellers who specialize in different kind of plants and make rare plants, non-rare plants, super accessible to everybody, all through a fun live auction format. So check out the link in my description to download the app and get some cool sign-up bonuses. Also check out my monthly live streams because I always do some really amazing giveaways with some of my favorite sellers on the platform. I hope to catch you then. Okay, back to the tissue cultures. And if you've never worked with tissue culture before, it's a great way to grow really expensive plants on the cheap. Tissue cultures are lab-grown plants with tissue taken from a mother plant, and it's grown in vitro. So I have a Philodendron Caramel Marble, although this has no variegation. Syngonium Strawberry Ice. Many of them are rotted because, again, I've left it in here too long. We'll see how many are viable. And an Anthurium Dark Phoenix. I grew this variegated dragon scale from tissue culture. So here's my science lab. Clean filtered water, distilled is better. I'm just using reverse osmosis, hydrogen peroxide. This is kelp concentrate. I'm going to use it to boost the roots. That's optional. Disinfecting my tools, clean gloves, the plants, coconut coir and perlite mix, and some boba cups. I think I'm gonna start with the Anthurium Dark Phoenix first. I'm gonna open the bag. Gloves first because this is grown in like this agar substance and potentially other hormones that I don't want touching my skin. There we go. And I'm just going to clean it and let it soak in this water to get all this gel off. And this one up too. A lot of these are mushy, so I'm gonna just not include those. Let's make it a party. We'll leave those soaking for a few minutes. The goal in this rinsing process is to get all of that gel-like substance off of the roots. And I'm also just using tweezers to remove any dead leaves or any rotted roots too. And these are both cups of clean water. I just need to keep swapping out the water and cleaning everything as best I can. Like this one only has one little root. I don't know. We'll see if it survives. I should have definitely deflasked it sooner. Okay, cup of clean water, and I'm just gonna give it a splash of hydrogen peroxide. And this is going to kill off any bacteria and oxygenate the roots just a little bit. I'm just gonna dunk it really quickly and then set it aside. I should really put that back into a thing of clean water, but I don't have a third container. Okay, this is optional, but I have some kelp concentrate, which you can use as a root booster. So I'm just gonna add like a drop of it to here. And just gonna let it soak like that for about 5 minutes. I'm going to fill up a mix of coconut coir and perlite into each of these cups. And because the roots are so delicate, I'm just gonna moisten these so that the roots don't touch dry soil. And again, just using only filtered water here. I don't want it soaking wet, just saturated. The consistency I'm going for is almost like damp sand at the beach. Pot these up. I'm gonna pot 2 of these in the same pot. This one actually grew aerial roots. By the way, I feel like I'm doing like a cooking show here. So these are potted, and tissue cultures need to live at 100% humidity, and then you need to slowly acclimate them to regular room humidity. I'm gonna put lids on all of these boba cups. Now this boba cup setup makes it so that this is its own greenhouse, and you have to follow an acclimation schedule in order to fully acclimate these to room temperature humidity. And how it works is, for the first week, you leave it like this completely closed. And then in the second week, I'm gonna make 1 hole in the top of this boba lid. Then week 2, make 2 holes. Week 3, make 3 holes. Basically, you're just slowly introducing the plant into the regular environment of the room. And after that, this can just live on its own like this. But because I'm running out of spaces where I can put plants, I am gonna pop them in my mini greenhouse here so that it has access to light. Alternatively, if I didn't want to keep melting holes into a bunch of cups, what I could do is, once I'm ready to acclimate them, I'll just pop the lid out and keep them all in here, and then every day just leave this open for a few minutes longer each day until it's acclimated to the space. Put this in here. And I would set the timer to 12 hours. And now I have my own greenhouse space for all my tissue cultures. Grow well, little ones. Everything is still alive. I put this greenhouse on my kitchen counter and I am happy to report that everything looks good. And even better, I see new growth happening. There's little baby leaves shooting out. And it's been a week and I'm not really in a let's melt some plastic kind of mood right now. So I think what I'll do is I'll just pop these lids off and then each week just leave this open longer and longer until it's acclimated. And I know they look a little wonky, but they've been in a bag for like several months, so give them a break. Spritz them with a little bit more reverse osmosis water so they don't dry out. Let's put a hygrometer in here. Okay, so the humidity in here is at 78%, which is perfect. I want it around 80% for the second week. P.S. Check out what's growing in my indoor garden. These are mini sunflowers, a variety of other different flowers. Ooh, this one's blooming. And these are cherry tomatoes. But let's fast forward a few weeks because I'm impatient. This is a tissue culture plant that is now fully acclimated to my home environment. Although I cannot remember for the life of me what plant this actually is. I deflasked this during one of my live streams in front of everybody. One of you had to have been there. So if you were there and you remember what plant I deflasked, please let me know in the comments because I have no idea. But anyway, it's really pretty. It's growing a new leaf and this is now ready to be potted up because this is kind of ugly in a cup. And I got some more pots from my friend Winnie. So hopefully one of these will be small enough to fit. There's 3-inch and 4-inch self-watering pots. Yay! I love these new colors. For this plant, I feel like the green calls out to me more than the pink. I have not fertilized this plant at all ever, so it is also time to fertilize it when I pot it up. See how the roots look. Oh yeah. Healthy. So normally this is the part where I would sprinkle in root crack, but someone recently commented and said, instead of just sprinkling over the mat and making a mess, why don't you put the plant in, sprinkle in the crack before you add in the soil? And I was like, that is so much smarter. How come nobody said anything? You guys were just all watching me do it like the dumb way. Okay, putting in the wick. Okay, just a little bit of soil first, then add in the plant. Sprinkle the root crack now so all the crack stays in the pot, and then backfill. Oh my gosh. Now this root crack has mycorrhizae fungi and it also has nutrients. It also is a plant food. So I don't need to add in extra plant food nutrients. This is good to go. Water into the reservoir and then the wick will draw it up. This plant is just like the cutest thing ever. I wish I knew what it was. And it's crazy that this is a complete lab-made plant grown in a bag. And that's tissue culture in a nutshell. So if you enjoy my chaos, please subscribe because there is always something more to do. And I'll be sure to keep you updated on how all the little babies do inside my mini greenhouse because there is work to be done in the big greenhouse. It's always this greenhouse.